you know, we're looking for guys right now at this stage as we're installing our offense and going through things. Obviously, there's more to it because we're not in just 14 days of spring. You know, we have 28 days before we play our first game, so there's more offense. So the installation usually takes a couple more days longer. So we're in that phase. So we're trying to just grasp right now effort, toughness, ball security, you know, those types of things. And you know, we're really focusing and concentrating on that. And we know there's going to be some mistakes. We just want them to go really hard right now.
Tim, what have you seen in terms of Shane's development?
Yeah, you know, I think he has a better understanding of the offense. Certainly his leadership has been better. I think part of it is because he knows the offense a little bit more. He's not centralizing everything. You know, he was really worried about himself and making sure he was doing right. Now that he has a better grasp of the offense, he's able to do a better job as a leader for us right now.
Has there been separation between him and Shane?
You know, we're still evaluating that right now.
Now that Kendall and Reese are here and practicing, do you feel better about tight ends?
Yeah, you know, those young guys have all done a good job. Cade, Kendall, Reese, Garrett still doing a good job for us, and obviously having Andrew being able to go through. That group has really changed from the springtime when we were decimated with injuries and depth. So obviously that's a pleasant surprise for us going in at this point after, what, 7-8 practices.
Do you already feel like, oh, okay, I've seen enough to know that you guys will be able to do X, Y, or Z or whatever offensively?
So far, yes.
Okay. How'd you rate your offensive line depth?
Yeah, I like those. You know, I think everyone had a great off season. I think Coach McKnight, Yancey's just fantastic what he does. Coach Wareheim's really top-notch offensive line coach. So the development of that group has probably been the biggest that I've seen since I walked on campus here, in terms of just attitude, toughness, their strength. They play a lot lower. The physicality of them, real pleased with them. Got to continue to develop depth, though. I mean, everyone's going to tell you that at every position.
Handoff we saw earlier that Warren had. We saw Shane pushing the pile. Is that something you tell your team? Like, we want everybody trying to make an effort, or is that a leadership thing?
I think it's a combination. I mean, we're competing, and if a guy's a real competitor, they're going to dig, scratch, claw, fight, and do whatever they got to do to win. And that's still what we're looking for. We're looking for the toughest 11 guys, the most competitive 11 guys. I don't care what they've done in the past, where they came from. It doesn't really matter. The 11 guys that get on the field, they're going to be ready.
A receiver, Hemphill. Talk about the battle in the slot, I guess.
You know, there's battles everywhere, though. It's not just in the slot. There really is. I think there's 3 or 4 guys in the slot that have done some good things. There's some guys showing up. Just we got to continue to stay consistent right now. That's one thing we're not being very good. We got to execute at a higher level as we get into this camp, and guys become weary mentally. They're not as focused, and we make too many mental errors at this point today, and really yesterday too. We made a lot of mental errors.
How do you gauge how to challenge them mentally when you know that they could hit a wall, as opposed to the physical conditioning?
Yeah. Well, we don't stop. I mean, that's the thing. Everything's tempo. We're going. We're constantly on them. Go, go, go. Play fast. Do those type of things. And expectations aren't going to cease because they're tired. I mean, the other team's not going to let up because you ran a long run and they might be tired. So you got to learn to dig down a little bit deeper. You got to fight a little bit harder. You got to rely on your teammates to be able to do that. And so we're still building that. It's much better than it was, but we're still building that culture.
Coach out there last week that Sam was getting it in the classroom, but he wasn't quite there yet on the field. How do you bring him along and try to get him to just get out there and play football?
It's experience and just reps. I mean, it's true. He's a talented young man. He gets it. He's able to direct teach it back to me, talk to me through it. And most of the time he sees things. Sometimes he just doesn't react to them fast enough just yet. It'll come. It'll come with time, and just keep giving him reps and reps and letting him see him and coach him and all the things that we do to coach those guys to get prepared for that.
How's the battle at right tackle going so far?
Good. You know, I think I like Tristan's been there. We've used Rodriguez there. We use Okafor there. You know, we're looking at some different guys, giving everybody a fair and equal chance to go win the position. And those guys are all playing really hard right now, and it's kind of a logjam. So we'll see how it all plays out.
What struck you about Todd Orlando? I don't know how much you knew Todd.
I didn't know much of Todd.
Yeah.
I mean, I had heard of him, but never faced him.
Yeah. What's your impressions?
Oh, he's unbelievable, outstanding.
Anything can jump out at you?
Just everything about him. I mean, he's focused. He got a great defense. I mean, great defense. Really hard to prepare for. Intense. Yeah. I mean, I love the guy. Glad he's on our team. Keep tweeting that. I don't know if people don't seem to believe me on that, but that's true.
Up in Ohio State, y'all had a good wide receiver core, but how does this wide receiver core compare to others that you have had before?
You know, this is a big group. You have Colin, you have LJ, and you have Dorian. You have 3 guys with size. I've never had that size. Even at the last place I was at, we didn't have that kind of size. You have really good speed in the slot. Guys like Reggie, guys like Armani and Devin. Those guys can all got great burners. And then, you know, Gerard, just him and John Burt. John Burt's another guy that can run. So that combination is rare to have that kind of size and also that kind of speed. So
who's a guy that you think is going to explode during the season, wide receiver wise?
It's hard to tell. I mean, right now it's so early, but I think Colin's done a great job for us right now to this point. But other guys have. Again, it comes back to being consistent. You might get 3 days of outstanding play from, you know, whoever, and then all of a sudden he's not as focused, has a couple of busts, maybe a drop, a miss route. So we just got to continue to keep working those guys.
What do you want to see at the running back position, Tim, in terms of, you want to have a clear #1 guy a week from now, or
yeah,
matter?
I don't know that that'll take place as we evaluate these guys through the scrimmage settings. I love what KP's doing. I think Chris really improved from the spring, seeing him play, and I love the 2 young guys. I think Danny and Tennille give us some stuff there as well.
Coach, you talk about finding 11 tough guys. What have you seen from Shane that would make him one of those guys?
You know, I talked about that a little bit earlier. I think his command of the offense has gotten better, which allows him to be able to lead the other guys. In the spring, he was so worried about what he had to do. It was so overwhelming, I think, initially for him. He was in his own little world. Now it's different. Now he has a better understanding. So now he could say, tighten your split, or hey, you need to run this, or I need you over here, and where before he couldn't do that. So his ability to lead and communicate and talk to guys has been a lot better.
Did you have to talk to him about being more leader?
Yeah, definitely had to do that. Just, you know, and he's a young guy. I mean, we forget. We act like he's been here for 4 years. I mean, he's been here for 1. So sometimes guys have to realize and learn this is your team. I mean, I talked to him actually today. I said, no matter what happens, no matter what's said, no matter whatever, when you're between those lines, you're the coach, and you make things right and do it the right way.
Tim, Thomas talked about this wanting to be a pro set type of offense with pro things.
Yeah.
Does that mean y'all want to be a run first outfit?
Not necessarily. What he's talking about is concepts. What he's talking about is the communication, the verbalization of our offense is one of those that helps guys that want to further their career. They're able to go to that level and communicate in that manner. It's not just a one word, hey, it's this, and just throw it to the open guy. We don't do that. There's a progression for the quarterbacks, and there's protection he learns, and when he has to change the protection and all those types of things. So that's the idea of when we say we're pro style, because that's how pro quarterbacks operate.
So when we get to the end of the season, do you want it to be 50-50 split down the middle, run pass?
I want to win. I really don't care what we got to do to win a game.
Tim, in terms of the breaking down process, you guys got after him really good in the spring and winter. How did Shane handle that? I know he's doing up downs in the first spring practice in front of the team.
Yeah. I think it was a culture shock initially, but he's embraced it. He's embraced it. Our guys are embracing the culture.
Jim, when you sat down with Tom and the other offensive coaches in the offseason, what were the conversations like as far as developing the culture that you guys believe will win games here?
Well, you know, it's weird. I don't know that there was a whole lot, because I think we're all aligned in terms of what we believe it takes to build a championship football team. The times have changed, kids may have changed, but the characteristics to winning haven't. You got to be unselfish, you got to be a really close team, you got to be really tough, you got to take care of the football, and you got to play really hard. So if we can do that, it doesn't really matter what plays you call. We're going to play really hard, and we're going to protect the football, and we're going to care about each other, and so we're going to have a really good chance to win the game when that happens.
What has Shackelford done to be able to get back in?
It's great having Shaq back, for sure. Really good player for us. He solidifies some of that stuff inside, whether it's center or guard. Still looking at different combinations in there, just because you never know what's going to happen and injuries and stuff. So that's one way to help create depth, is to be able to multi-train a guy to play a couple positions.
You like your guys?
Yeah, love them.
Think you got a group you can go win with?
Yeah, love the guys.
Do you think he could redshirt on the last one, Sam, if he doesn't win the job? Do you think that's
I don't know.
realistic?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what day it is.
I know, well, you got so many quarterbacks coming in.
Yeah. Tuesday?
Sorry. You talk about toughness, and I know Tom talked in the spring about you want more toughness out of the receivers. Do you get the feeling that that's a group that's starting to develop?
Yes, absolutely. Yep, I do. We got to keep a physical toughness. We got to keep working the mental toughness. That's always it goes hand in hand. It's one thing to be physically tough, and I could run into that wall or go hit a guy, but can you do it over and over and over and over again for 4 quarters when you're hot, when you're tired, it's raining, you're in a hostile environment, and mentally you have to train yourself to be able to continue to do that. That's still a process that we're going through.
Do you have any freshmen you think can play?
I'm not, again, it's so early. I mean, 7, 8 practices. So.
Thanks,
all right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.